Hello everyone, this is Eric with GameBall, the gaming trackball mouse. In today's video I am going to be playing some Valheim. It's a very popular new game, open world survival sandbox game. I'll be talking more about that. But I do want to give you a quick update on GameBall, and for those of you who don't know, this is GameBall right here. It is the first gaming trackball mouse. We've been working on it for a number of years and we're set to release it in the upcoming months. It's being manufactured in the UK. This is a prototype. This is probably actually the last prototype. The final one will be all black, and we'll have a limited edition which will have red highlights and a red ball, and then the final edition will be all black. It does have LED lighting, so you can change the lighting on it. But that's trackball. You can find more about it on www.gamingtrackball.com. So, just a quick update on manufacturing. We've been delayed in the UK due to COVID and the lockdown restrictions there. Things are getting better, but we're probably still at least a month and a half out before we can start accepting pre-sales, and then after that go into full production. So I'll be giving out more updates as we get closer. Today's video I'm going to be spending most of the time on the game Valheim and talking about that and showing you how I play Valheim with GameBall. So let's talk a little bit about Valheim. So Valheim is a procedurally generated open world Viking based survival game. It's an excellent game and a crazy good value for $20 US, and something that I would highly recommend. I did get it the day it came out and I've been very happy with it. I've spent a fair amount of time in it, but not as much as some people. Some people have gone crazy with this game, so you'll see some fantastic things that people have actually crafted and done. So I'll talk a little bit about the game, kind of how you play it, how I use GameBall within the game, and kind of what the basics are. So it's a sandbox game. So you start off, you're trying to survive, so it gives you really nothing to start with, and you have to go out and start picking up rocks. You pick up stones. You have to go out and start chopping down trees and gathering wood. You got to build a base. You got to build a campfire. You got to do all those things to start surviving, and you start with your basic armor, kind of a leather armor, and then you move up. You start collecting copper and tin, and you start making better weapons and higher grade equipment. They do have ranged combat. They do have melee combat, sword and shield if you prefer that, or a little bit of both. So the game offers quite a bit, and it's the total game size like under 1 gig, so it's amazing as far as what they offer you. See if I can get this deer. Nope, that was a bad shot. Anyway, so the what there is to do, like I said, you start off crafting, and as you get up higher in levels, you'll actually start to get different components. You'll go to iron and start crafting iron weapons and that type of thing, and get better armor. And then there's these world bosses, which you'll fight those as you go through the game, and they'll offer specific drops and allow you to upgrade your gear and give you better equipment. In some cases, even giving you a buff. That's what you'll see. I have this left mouse button over here mapped as an ability for once you kill the first boss, you get this ability which gives you a temporary buff for your stamina and your hit points. One thing I want to mention, the stamina is down there at the bottom middle of the screen, and that is your kind of your overall as you craft, as you fight. You'll burn stamina. As you jump, you burn stamina. So it's something that you got to watch and pay close attention to, even as you're cutting trees, which I don't necessarily agree with, but that's the way it's in the game. Don't let those fall on you. They do damage. So it's important to watch your stamina. You run out of stamina in the fight or as you're swimming, and you could easily die from that. Something to pay attention to. But the combat overall is really good. It's somewhat simplistic. It's nothing earth-shattering, but it's done rather well. Oh, I missed again. And as you do hunt animals, they'll drop different hides and different components and things like that allow you to craft better gear. Let's see if I can get this guy down there. There we go. I'll show you what a deer drops. Should be a hide and some raw deer meat, which you'll use to cook. And if you noticed here, when you go in, you right-click, you do have to eat. That increases your overall hit points, and it helps with your stamina as well. So it's one of those games where you're constantly worrying about your food. There's no water, but you are constantly worried about your food and your overall hit points, especially if you're going to go into a large fight. So there's quite a bit to do. You know, once you get to the point where you can do crafting, they give you a crafting hammer, and I'll show some of that more once I get to my base here and kind of what I've done. But you can build pretty elaborate bases. People have built like the Millennium Falcon in this game. They've built the Star Trek Enterprise, amazing large towers and fortresses and castles. I haven't done nearly that. I've spent a fair amount on my base, but not like what some people have done. But you'll go to these different biomes, and let me show you some of that. So I'm in what's called the meadow here, and if you mouse over, you'll see on the top right of the map, it says meadow. And if you go down over here, it'll say Black Forest, and then ocean, and then you have, you know, mountains, and you have plains, and you have swamps. And as you go to these different biomes, the difficulty increases. You'll find new monsters to fight, and then you'll also, like I have a few dungeons here, you'll see these dungeons that you can explore, and you'll collect more rare components in there that allow you to build better armor, better items. You can actually have portals and different things within the game. So you'll do an awful lot of exploring. Like I mentioned, there's these world bosses that you fight that give you some nice equipment and nice drops that allow you to kind of progress through the game. But a big part of it overall is really the crafting and, you know, building up your base. Coming up ahead here is the base that I've spent a fair amount of time on. You know, you can spend hundreds and hundreds of hours in this game pretty quickly, and if you like that style of game, I think you'd really enjoy this. So I'd really recommend it. But that's my base, so that's, you know, building that. It does take some time to go from wood to stone and get all the right pieces and parts in order to craft various gear. This actually just for your, you know, you find these rune stones, which gives you information. This is actually the spawn location, or one of the spawn locations for the first boss. I just happened to build my base right next to it. So that was the first boss I fought. They can be kind of difficult. You will die a fair amount in this game. The way it works is, you know, you have a bed, and I'll show you mine. And once you have used that bed, that's your spawn location. So when you die, you lose all your gear, and you respawn in your bed, and you have to go collect your stuff. So it can be rather harsh and frustrating. I was one of those people that a few weeks ago, before realizing what was going on, I sailed far south into an area. I had stuff to make portals and all that, and got out of the boat, and a mosquito killed me. Death mosquitoes, they're a real pain in the butt. Anyway, this is your bed, but you will die a lot. It's, you know, you just gotta kind of manage it and just realize that you're going to lose some stuff here and there, and either you give up on it or you know, go out and try to collect it. This is the portal here, and the way they work is once you have two portals and they're named the same, you can teleport between those two portals. I have these portals kind of around the map, and I just name them. And then, you know, early on I built a bunch of different portals, but really you can just have one in your main base, and then you just rename it to whatever your portal that you want, and then it'll take you to that particular portal. So it saves you some resources and some time building a million portals in your main base. You can just build the one. So this is, like I mentioned, my base. You do have to cook food and spend time. There's an awful lot of crafting. This is my kind of main crafting area. You know, you build all of this. It has all the roof and all that. The way the construction works is you grab your hammer. In this case, I have it mapped to mouse button 3. And then from there you can build walls, you can build roofs, you know, and then I have it set to middle mouse button to destroy those things. When you do deconstruct something, one of the nice things is you actually get most of your components, if not all your components, back. So they've done a pretty good job there. There is a pretty good grindy factor built into the game, so you will have to spend a fair amount of time out collecting components. Like I just had to put resin in this torch, and maintaining your base and your items and repairing things. And if you don't like that part of the game, you probably won't like this game, but if you enjoy the crafting and the survival elements to it, I think you'd really enjoy it. I'll show you my base from I have a free fly mode in the slide to get a better perspective of kind of my base and what I've done. And like I said, this is rather simple compared to what a lot of other people have done. You know, there's people who've spent and built these amazing structures. You go on YouTube and do a search for Valheim, and there's already thousands of videos out there. So this is my little base, kind of happy with it. There's still always more I want to do. You know, there is a farming component. These are just carrots and different things that I plant that allow you to make your different food items. So that's my base, and like I said, if you really enjoy that part of it and the crafting, I think you'll I think you'll really enjoy it. Get out of this free fly mode. There we go. All right, so let's do a portal. I'll kind of show you how that works. So when you travel through a portal, you go to one that's connected to it. This particular one I think is connected to the mountain biome, or near a mountain biome. Nope, I am near a troll cave. So what I try to do is I name the portal, and then you designate certain things on the map, the different dungeons and kind of where they're located, so you can go back, and if you need to, once you do clear out a dungeon, they don't respawn, and so you have to find additional ones. But as you go up into the different, I'm going to show you actually a different biome here. You can just rename this. Let's just rename that East. Give that a second. Doesn't do it right away. But then once that's connected, you can connect to that eastern portal that I've named it East. And this should take me to the mountain biome. The different biomes, the swamp, the mountain, all these different ones have different monsters. Things get a little bit more difficult. You have like this is a grayling. This guy's a little bit more difficult. He does a poison there. But this area up here is the mountain biome. I got a poison on me. Need some food. And like I mentioned before, as you go to these different biomes, the creatures get more difficult. You have the different items that you can harvest and mine for and search for. This particular one can be very difficult because you don't have the right gear. Just you can freeze to death just from being cold. But they have wolves, and they have these frost drakes, and it can be very difficult. So like I said, you will die a lot in this game. That's just kind of the way it is. But just be ready for that. Oh, there's a troll. So that's what trolls look like. They're actually pretty fun to fight. They can be a little difficult. One thing that's tough about them is they can knock over trees and kill you. That almost killed me. So you got to watch out for falling trees. And I think I'm just going to use a sword on this guy. It might be easier. Oh, I'm missing him. Yeah, when you fight, you want to make sure that you have your cursor on the guy, so that you can actually hit him. I'm just going to take some hits here. There we go. You see there, I actually ran out of stamina in fighting that guy, so that can be pretty bad if you run out of stamina. You can't fight, you can't block, and you can get killed pretty quickly. So that's Troll. You know what? He killed my portal. That's one thing you have to do, is pay attention to that. So now actually I have to travel, or since I have the gear, I can build another portal and then travel back. But I think this is good enough to kind of end here. That's the game. That's Valheim. I gave you an update on GameBall, so we'll look for more updates as we get closer, and procedures on how we'll actually do the pre-release sales. I think you'd really enjoy this if you like that style of game. I think it's an amazing value for the price, and if you like that open world sandbox survival, I'd highly recommend it. It is better with friends. I've been playing it mainly solo, but I would say it is probably a better game with friends. You can play up to 10 friends on the same server. They can help with resource gathering and fighting the bigger bosses and things like that. So that's where we're at with GameBall, and this is Valheim. Again, highly recommended. I appreciate you spending the time today and watching my video, and we will talk soon. Thank you.